everyone, it's me, Chelsea, and welcome back to another episode of C Podcast where we talk about life and my observations in general. I'm sorry for my look today. I'm not quite prepared, but I wanted to film a podcast because I couldn't sleep. And a topic that's in my head is really the term self sabotage. Because I don't think a lot of people my age really know what self sabotage is. So they tend to do it without even realizing it. Although it's a very human concept, humans just really tend to self sabotage in order for us to protect ourselves and in order for us to cope during hard times. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about self sabotaging, the concept of it. Let's define it together and what are the top five tendencies of self sabotaging, and me recommending some books about it. The first time I encountered the concept of self sabotaging was when I read the book by Brianna Wiest, Mountain is You. It's my favorite book, and I read it, I think, 4 years ago. But yeah, let's define self sabotage. Let's start with the Google Dictionary definition of self sabotage. According to Google, self sabotage is defined as the behavior that creates problems in daily life and interferes with long standing goals. It is when people actively or passively prevent themselves from reaching their goals. This often happens unconsciously and stems out from low self worth or fear of change. So, from the word itself, sabotage, it's deliberately trying to destroy something. It can be anything. But the term deliberate is intentionally wanting to destroy something. And according to the Google definition, it can be active and it can also be passive. So you might know it, you might be aware of it, but you're just continuing to do it because it feels better and it makes you feel good. But most of the time, you're passively doing it. It's your way of coping and it's your way of preventing yourself to be in danger, which totally makes sense to me. Now let's go to what Brianna Wiest think about self-sabotage. It's kind of the same actually. She thinks that it's the survival instinct of our brain from the previous trauma that we had, and it serves as the presence of an internal block. A quote from her book says, self sabotage is when you have two conflicting desires, one that wants to grow and one that wants to stay safe. I like this part so much. It normalizes the feeling of having an internal conflict within you. You have someone who really wants to grow, who really wants to not use your self sabotage survival mechanism, but at the same time, you have fears, you have traumas, and that keeps you from growing. And as she said, it is what makes you feel safe. So it's not laziness, it's self protection disguised as resistance. Okay, so since we have those two definitions already, I think we're already gauging the concept of what self sabotage is. And maybe you guys already have a guess of what are the self sabotage tendencies that we usually have. But I also want to give the definition from the Bible. From the biblical standpoint, it's also existing. Self sabotage, according to the Bible, is acting outside of God's will for you to have abundance. Because if you're self sabotaging yourself, you're acting out of fear, your lack of faith, and basically your pride. A very relatable verse that Paul wrote in the epistles for Romans is from Romans chapter 7, verse 19. It says, for I do not do the good that I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do, this I keep on doing. So this verse reflects on the inner conflict that we have within ourselves. And that comes up, or that brings us back to the definition from the dictionary and also Brianna Weiss. It's an internal conflict within us, and it's normal. Even the Bible recognizes that this is a normal thing that humans can feel. It's our flesh versus our spirit. It's our faith versus our humanity, or us being mundane. And yeah, that often leads to sabotaging what God wants for us. I hope those definitions are enough for you to gain clarity of what self sabotaging is. Now, let's talk about the top five self-sabotaging tendencies that we have based on the book Mountain is You. I want to read some research on why do humans tend to self-sabotage. The first reason is low self-worth and fear of success. According to psychologist Dr. Ellen, we self-sabotage ourselves because we don't believe that we deserve the things that we are getting. Secondly, attachment trauma or fear of abandonment. A research entitled Attachment and Therapeutic Practice says that in order to avoid rejection, those with insecure attachment styles usually just self sabotage themselves so they won't get rejected or so they won't feel rejected. Because a form of self sabotage is also perfectionism, people pleasing, avoiding discomfort. Third one is cognitive dissonance. I think I've mentioned this in a lot of my podcast recently. I just really admire the concept of it just because it makes me feel relatable and it explains why we have this internal conflict within us. So, with cognitive dissonance, people struggle who they want to be and what they want to be versus how they act and what they decide on. So, when your beliefs and action don't match, it creates a psychological discomfort, and self sabotage becomes a way to reduce the tension. And that's backed up by a theory of cognitive dissonance by Festinger. It was written in 1957. Oh my gosh, guys, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time to talk right now. I feel like it's because I've been working all day and I'm so tired. But I'm just gonna keep this as slow and as natural as it can be because I want this to be like a podcast that you listen to when you just want to fall asleep or you just want a friend to hear. So let's now talk about the top 5 self-sabotage patterns according to Brianna Weiss and Mountainous in You. The first one is avoiding discomfort. Ooh, I know. It's like just keeping yourself in the bubble of your comfort zone. It's self sabotaging because you just stay in what you think is comfortable. An example of this is you don't apply for better jobs because you're so scared of interviews, or after you graduate, you don't want to go to a different community anymore to meet other people because you're so scared of having a new circle of friends, and you're kind of anticipating so many things in your head that are not even true. And that's very common, especially for people in their 20s. I think that's why we feel like life is so complicated within us because we are in the self sabotage stage where everything is just a pattern in our brain and we keep on repeating those negative self talk, those negative anticipations. And it just doesn't work for us because it's you trying to intentionally destroy your opportunities in life. And I've been there, it's relatable. But the solution there is to reframe your mindset and actually step out of your comfort zone. And when you step out of your comfort zone, that's when you would realize that the fear that you had before is so tiny. Something that I always tell to myself, I don't want to get nervous if it's not life threatening. It might not work for everyone, but that's something that have worked for me. I've been really scared answering client calls. I was always scared on replying. I always get anxious because I feel like I'm gonna make a mistake or they're just calling me to point out my mistake. And it didn't help me at all. So I changed my mindset into thinking that nothing is life threatening, so I shouldn't be nervous about it. You just have to reframe your discomfort as a sign of growth. I said this to my friend before. The more uncomfortable I am, it means that I'm growing. That's why I always try to put myself in uncomfortable situations. And I think that's also good for you. As long as you are not in danger physically, mentally, emotionally, you're good. Like, just put yourself in uncomfortable situations. If you guys know the book of David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me, that really, really changed my mindset. Instead of him telling me that I should have positive affirmations, he kept on telling me to think about all the things that are negative about me. Write it on a sticky note, put it on the mirror, and repeat it every day. and eventually you're gonna improve because you hate it so much. There's a concept about it. I think it's reverse psychology. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, you just really have to step out of your comfort zone, remove that fear, and if you cannot remove it, let go of it or accept it. Just accept you have that fear and move forward to risk whatever thing that you fear. Okay, number two, since we're already talking about it, aside from avoiding discomfort, negative self talk is one of the most common self sabotaging tendencies that we have. And it's fine, it's relatable. But the thing with negative self talk, the inner critic within you holds back the shame or doubt. It sounds so ironic talking about it because I just said that David Goggins really helped me to have all those negative self talk. But you know, it's destructive when it's holding you back from the things that you want to achieve in life. And it's holding you back from the relationships that you want to create in your life and also the opportunities that you know that you can get. I have learned to make myself my best friend. Before, I used to have a lot of negative self talk. I hated myself so much. I always think I'm not to be loved, or I just hated everything about me. I hated the way that I looked. I hated the way that I speak. I hated my attitude. I hated the way that I give connections to people. I hated the way that I work, the way that I build relationships. I hated so much things. I would hear my unconscious thoughts saying bad things about me. And over time, I was able to learn how to become my own best friend. And the secret behind that is just keep on talking and talking to yourself and really act as your best friend. And as someone's friend, I wouldn't want my friend to think about anything negative about herself. So what helped me was thinking that I am that little girl who wanted to achieve so many things in life, that vulnerable, loving, beautiful little girl. And that helped me be more kinder to myself. And you should do that too. Like, look at yourself and think about your little girl self, the cutie, vulnerable little girl. And just remind yourself, I'm still learning so many things in life, and I'm currently learning now. And it's a never ending cycle of learning, and I know I can do it. So you can write down all the things that you think you can't do. Like, I can't be confident in front of people, I can't talk fluently, I can't dance, or even I can't be as better as her. Just write everything you think you can't do and replace it with can. So that's a type of compassionate self talk that can really help you boost your confidence more. Fourth one. This was my first journal entry. Being a people pleaser. Being a people pleaser is a self sabotaging act because you're doing things for others not out of love, but to gain their approval. It's basically not putting yourself first. You just do it out of the fear that they will hate you if you didn't do it. Canceling your rest days just so you can be there with someone. It's okay if it's a very important thing, like if your friend really needs you. But if it's just out of the fear of losing that friend, if you put yourself first, it's very destructive. There is beauty in saying no, and I've learned that from Joyce Spring. There's really beauty in saying no, and you would realize who your true friends are. It will also narrow down your circle of friends, which is a good thing because you would keep those quality ones. And you wouldn't want to keep those with petty judgments about you. Your friends should know who you are, and your friends should know your priority. And that's when you get the opportunity to set boundaries within you and your circle. You need to have your own non negotiables, whether it's a non negotiable for your time, a non negotiable for your values. You can also not be a chameleon and just act or conform the same way as your circle is, whether that's your close circle or just a random group of stranger. I think that's also a big part of being a people pleaser. You change who you are based on what you think people would like. And that's so sad. Like, I wouldn't want my younger self to act that way. I wouldn't want my cutesy, vulnerable me knowing that she will grow up just to adjust for other people's needs all the time and never prioritize herself. I wouldn't want that for her. I want her to keep healthy boundaries with everyone and at the same time know her priorities and know herself better. And you should want that for yourself too. Next one is fear of dun 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 failure and success. Uh-huh. Even success. It's not just about your fear of failure, but it's also about your fear of being seen or being responsible for success. I think another thing that I connect here is perfectionism. That's also a form of self-sabotaging because you need to embrace progress over perfection. You need to surround yourself with people who normalize imperfection and appreciate time and effort. And you need to be like that to yourself as well. Nobody's perfect. You're never gonna achieve perfection. Just embrace success and own it. Who cares if people are gonna think, oh, she's so proud of her own little tiny success? It says more about them than it says about you. You just really have to give yourself grace. I say that a lot, but give yourself grace to make mistakes. And the more mistakes that you get, the more failures that you get, the more learnings that you'll get as well, which is amazing. Like, just keep on failing, girl. But don't fail deliberately because that's also a form of self sabotage. But yeah, just keep on failing. Like, risk it and just do it. Next one. Last but not the least, aside from perfectionism, it's overthinking. This is kind of different from negative self talk because overthinking is overanalyzing things. It doesn't necessarily have to be negative. It can be about you planning your business for so long but not being able to launch it because you're overthinking so much about it. What if you make mistakes? What if like this and that and this and this? When you have to release those thoughts, journal it, release it somewhere. Somewhere where you can dump it and at the same time it remains sacred. Like, just write all your thoughts in one space and read it again and ask yourself, does it make sense? Usually it doesn't. But if your mind keeps on telling you, this makes sense, this might happen, this is true, this is the fact, this is the reality, rethink that again. Rethink it and rethink it until you give yourself compassion. Okay? If you guys know the 80-20 rule, where 80% comes from the consequences and 20% comes from the action, you can think about that. Like 20% comes from your action, and that 80% can be a good consequence. So if you don't start now, if you don't start even the 10% of it, how are you going to get the other bigger percentage? So stop overthinking things. It's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be fine, I'm sure. If you guys resonate from any of those things, I do hope I said something that can be helpful for you because those are the things that I would want to say to myself when I am experiencing those self sabotage moments. And if that didn't help much, here are the three books that I recommend for you to be able to navigate your self sabotage tendencies a little bit better. The first one is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. It's the one that I've been recalling all over again this entire podcast. It's a deep, poetic, and transformational book because it allows you to get to know the deep roots that causes your self-sabotage tendencies. So it talks about where you can get it from your past traumas and then from your past fears. So it's really helpful just getting to know yourself and being more self-aware. Second one is a very highly recommended book by a lot of people. It's The Atomic Habits by James Clear. If I'm not mistaken, that's where I got the 80-20 rule. It just talks about the little things that you can do to make your life a little bit better. So it's 1% improving daily, or the concept of Kaizen, and it can give you a lot of tips when it comes to habit building. Third one, oh my gosh, my friend recommended this book and it changed my whole life. Ang OA. Pero ang OA kasi dami ko nare-recommend na book. Pero ito talaga guys, this is so good. It's The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. It helps you detach yourself from the resistance that you have, and it helps you get to know yourself in a very spiritual way, and it builds awareness from your self-sabotaging thoughts. It's a very good book. You guys should read it. If I would rate it from 1 to 10, it's probably 12. So yeah, guys, oh my gosh. This is a very, very, very good topic to have. And I'm glad that I'm able to share it with you guys. And yeah, probably before sleeping, I'm gonna reread Untethered Soul just so I can have more inspiration tonight and slay my day tomorrow. I do hope that you slay the day tomorrow as well and read the books that I recommended. Thank you for watching this episode. Good night.